TCS presents Penn State football. From Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio, it's the Penn State Nittany Lions versus the Buckeyes from Ohio State. This game is brought to you by the Dodge Boys. See your local Dodge dealer for the best buy in town. And by Kentucky Fried Chicken, where you can have a finger-licking good time barrel of fun. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ray Scott. Max McGee is here with me. And Max, about the only word I've heard describing these Buckeyes is awesome.
I think they are, Ray. They didn't know how good they were. They found out last week they could play defense and they could play offense. And today's a perfect day for football. 70 degrees, 84,000 fans, two of America's most successful college coaches and two undefeated teams. Throw that to the fact that Ohio State has never beaten Penn State, and they've played them 4 times at home, and I think it's going to be an interesting Saturday afternoon.
What does the head man think? That would be Joe Paterno. We go to Lenny Moore to find out.
Well, Joe, you're here in Ohio State country, and this has to pose as probably one of the biggest games. Of course, you got the season, you know, the rest of the season going, but I mean, you have to take them as they go along.
That's right.
You understand? Okay, now how's everything going as far as the ball club's concerned?
Fine. I think we've practiced very well all week. Lenny, I think we're going to play as well as we know how. We're playing an awfully fine football team in Ohio State, and it's a real challenge to us, and we're going to enjoy the day. I'm sure we're going to play well. I think we're going to have to move the football on the ground in order to be able to keep it a little bit so we don't have too much pressure put on our defense. If we can do that, I think we can play them a good football.
Question. You know that Ohio State is basically a running ball club. They don't put the ball in the air unless they have to, really. And what's your thought plans going into the game?
Well, I think they'll throw the football. I hope they can't jam it down our throats, but you never can tell. But when Green throws, he throws very effectively, so we can't gang up too much on the run. I think we got to be careful that we don't get hurt, you know, with the deep pass, because Willis can run like a deer and Green can throw the ball long. So I think we've got to play a little bit more balance than people expect. But, you know, I just got to play a good football game in all areas. It'll be all right, Leonard.
Okay, Joe, you know last week Ohio State was great defensively. Have you altered anything as far as your offensive plans are concerned?
We're going to do a few things a little differently than we've done just to give them a couple surprises, but not an awful lot. We've got to play our game. We're a young team. We're improving, and we've got to continue to improve beyond this one to the rest of the season, Lenny, so we can't change too much.
Joe, we're going to let you go. Take care. Listen, we'll be right back in just a short while.
Special greeting to those of you watching this game live up at Rec Hall in State College. And you know, Max, you can't help but get caught up in this enthusiasm of this plus 80,000 throng at Ohio Stadium.
You're exactly right, Ray. And, you know, Joe Paterno was worried about he never liked the freshman rule where freshmen were eligible. But unfortunately last week, he had to use a freshman. I say unfortunately, fortunately, and this freshman turned out to be dynamite. Tom Donovan had 113 yards rushing. This week he has 2 flankers, both freshmen, Rich Malott and Tom Donovan. So that'll prove interesting for Penn State.
The captains right now are meeting the officials, who are Jerry Markbright, the referee, the umpire Russ Kemper, the head linesman Art White, Dale Oram, the line judge, field judge Lou Lehman, and back judge William Quimby. The toss of the coin has just been completed. Let's see who won the toss. Ohio State won the toss and elected to receive, which comes as no surprise. Lenny, you're down on the field. Does the enthusiasm and the noise have you caught up in it now?
even hear myself talk. It's very, very difficult. Ray, I could just about hear you. But in little other observations that I've gathered thus far, Penn State is probably going to have to do something to stop Cornelius Green with his option offense. And if Penn State can kind of break that down, that's going to be in Penn State's favor. Offensively, Penn State's going to have to control the ball again and keep it away from, the likes of Archie Griffin and the great backs that they have. Ohio State known for what they usually do. They run all the time, so hopefully Penn State can force them into a passing type offense. So it's going to be interesting as we go into today's game. Take it back upstairs.
Okay, Lenny, we have a win today. We have a win today. It'll be blowing as you watch the game from the right to the left of about 15 miles an hour as we look at the scarlet and gray-clad Ohio State Buckeyes. Coach Woody Hayes, his 30th year at Ohio State. We don't have enough time to give you his record any more than we have time to tell you of all the things that Archie Griffin has done. But suffice it to say, when you see Ohio State's number 45 today, you're looking at one of the truly great running backs of this era of collegiate football.
This young man broke in with about 237 yards as a freshman. He's since then made 21 games in a row. He's made over 100 yards, and that's unheard of in the annals of college football.
And that doesn't even count the Rose Bowl game because the NCAA does not recognize records set in postseason games. But Chris Barr will be kicking off for Penn State. We're ready for the start of this game as Barr has an excellent kick that is going to go beyond the end line. And back there, Lenny Willis, their great split end, didn't have a chance to handle it. So Barr handles his first job most efficiently.
Yes, he does, Ray. Their wind is a factor. He was kicking with that wind behind him. He kicked it right out of the end zone.
The numbers on the Ohio State players, folks, as you will notice, are extremely hard to read. Cornelius Green, the quarterback, is number 7. Griffin is number 45. Archie Griffin, he has a brother on defense. Pete Johnson, the ramrod fullback, is number 33, as the Buckeyes will start out of an I formation from their own 20-yard line. We're going to get our first look at Griffin. Well, he picks up a little better than 8 yards first time out. Rich Kristen, the one linebacker, nailed him, but Archie Griffin is off and running with an 8-yard pickup on first down.
They're wasting no time with what they expect to do, and that's give the ball to Griffin and let him go.
Offensive line for Ohio State, 79, Chris Ward is awesome, the left tackle. Ted Smith, 60, the left guard. Rich Applegate, 61, the center. Bill Lukens, 64, the right guard. Scott Donnelly, 73, the right tackle. Lenny Willis, number 89, is wide to the right, as is Brian Bashnagel, the flanker back. 2nd and 2, Ohio State. Bashnagel. First down, 40-yard line. Tom Odell made the tackle. He had a simple one-man screen in the person of the other wide receiver, Lenny Willis.
We'll look again. I think it came as a little bit of surprise to Penn State to see Green put the ball in the air this early. It is a one-man screen, and it almost broke for big yardage. This Bashnagel is quite a running back.
Odell did a great job in getting away from the block and making the tackle. First down, Ohio State at the Buckeye 40. Griffin, short yardage. Mainly because Greg Buttle, number 67, the inside right linebacker, made the stop, along with Ron Crosby. Let's check the Buckeyes, the Ohio State offense we've given you. Now let's give you the Penn State defense. Up front, Dennis Zmugin, 81, Ron Coder, 65, John Quinn, 90, and Ron Crosby, 64. For Ohio State, 2nd down 8 at the Buckeye 42. Bashnagel in a slot to the left. Bashnagel in motion. Archie Griffin to the 47, where it'll be 3rd down and 3, and Jack Beener, number 33, and John Quinn stopped the play, and there is a look from our ground level camera of one Woody Hayes. For Ohio State, 3rd down 3, Buckeye 47. Willis is wide left. He's covered by Mike Johnson. Here comes Baschnagel, first down. 30, 20, 10. Gary, Peter Kuski, and Tom Odell prevented a touchdown. And Baschnagel, who did not handle the ball last week against Michigan State, has made his presence felt.
Baschnagel, you can tell why he's averaging over 9 yards a carry. He breaks outside, and he's a very hard man to catch up with. A great defensive play prevented a touchdown. From the ground level, you can see it's a reverse, and he caught some Penn State people a little bit unexpected.
First and goal at the 4. Full house backfield. Pete Johnson to the 1. So the Buckeyes in this opening drive have shown tremendous variations off this I formation.
I think even somewhat surprising that they've gone to a reverse, they've gone to a pass. They've just about done things that we didn't really expect them to do. And Pete Johnson, that fullback, weighs 248 pounds. That's a lot of man to stop.
Second and goal, 1.5. Pete Johnson did not get in. He was hit first by Greg Buttle. So Penn State is making it tough for the Buckeyes, who started this particular series at the 4-yard line and bringing up now third and goal inside the 1.
That reverse was really something to look at. That was executed as perfect and very well by Brian Baschnagel.
Third and goal, less than a yard away from a touchdown. Pete Johnson, touchdown.
They gave it to their big fullback 3 times, and on the 3rd time he found just enough room to get that 1 yard he needed for a touchdown. He's a very strong young man.
Tom Claiborne will try for the extra point. A marker is down. A marker is down. Just a moment. Penalty flag is down at the 9-yard line. The Buckeyes apparently have the option whether they want to accept the penalty. They have decided to decline the offside penalty. It is a 7-0 score. So with the Buckeyes leading by 7-0, we'll be back right after this. Reach out, America, and get a hold of something good. Today, we Americans are going more places than ever before, and we're taking Kentucky Fried Chicken with us. Hello, everyone. I'm Ray Scott. Ever wondered just what it is that makes Kentucky Fried Chicken America's favorite take-along meal? It's something we call real goodness. That same secret recipe the Colonel's been using for all these years. So, reach out, America. Get a hold of something good from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
The man who'd rather drive a truck than a car. His name is Catfish Hunter. He almost never drives a car because the 4-wheel drive in his Dodge truck takes him all the places he wants to go. And because when he's after game, he needs room for a lot of game and room for his friends to ride in comfort. That's why Catfish Hunter would rather drive a truck.
The man who'd rather drive a truck than a car would rather drive a Dodge.
Tom Skladany will kick off from the 45-yard line because the offside penalty will be measured off here. 9 plays, 80 yards for a truly awesome Ohio State running attack with the aid of 1 pass. Woody Petchel is back deep. Rich Maudie and Dwayne Taylor. Now this is into a 15-mile-an-hour wind. And this is Rich Maudie out to about the 20-yard line. Incidentally, during that goal line stand, Max, Greg Buttle was noted limping off the field.
Ray, that would be a big blow to Penn State if Rich Buttle is hurt. if Greg Buttle is hurt, because he's truly one of America's great defensive linebackers.
Barbanchak comes wide left. Motti is a flanker right. Andrus at quarterback. Dwayne Taylor gets about 2 yards. Tom Donovan is starting, number 21. Floyd Baskerville is injured and will probably not play today. Jimmy Cefalo, as most of you know, will not play today. Barbanchak, the one wide receiver. Dave Stutz is the other wide receiver. Second down 8 from the Penn State 22. Motti and this young Ohio State defense on the first couple of plays here, living up to advanced reputation that it's gelled in a hurry, Max.
It has. It shut out Michigan State last week, which was supposed to be an outstanding offensive team. But Penn State knows it's got to take this ball to them, and I think Coach Paterno is going to keep trying to run this football.
Third down 7 at the Penn State 23. First down, Barbanchak, 34-yard line of Penn State. Penn State's offensive line: Benson, 71, Brad Benson of Altoona, Tom Rafferty of Fayetteville, New York, 72, Ron Argent of Delmont, 59, Mark Thomas of Elizabeth, 69, George Reener of Washington, 68, Barbanchak, number 16 from Binghamton, New York, the one wide receiver. He's off to the right. Motti is a wing back left. First down, Penn State. Dwayne Taylor out to the 42-yard line, and it's going to be second down and 8, Penn State. Lenny Moore, what's the report on Greg Buttle?
Yes, we were over there talking to the trainer, Chuck Medler, and they informed me that it's a muscle in the right leg. See, Greg Buttle has been having some kind of problems with shin problems, but I think it's a muscle, so it looks like he may return shortly.
Okay, Lenny, thank you. Second and 2, Taylor, first down. Taylor's inside the 45-yard line of Ohio State.
Great starting speed by Taylor. This young man's getting better every week, and this Penn State offense is beginning to gel early.
Ohio State up front: Bob Brodzinski, 84, Eddie Beeman, 67, Nick Buonamici, 75, and Pat Curto, number 90. They're the front four for Ohio State, but Penn State has a first down at the Buckeye 43. There goes Taylor for short yardage to the Penn State 41-yard line. Ran into Eddie Beeman there. The Ohio State linebackers: Eddie Thompson, number 9, Aaron Brown, 55, Ken Kuhn, 54. A secondary that includes Bruce Rule, number 43, Ray Griffin, Archie's brother, number 44, Tim Fox, number 12, and Craig Cassidy, number 23. Penn State second and 8 at the Ohio State 41. This is Donovan to around the 38-yard line, and Penn State is going to have a 3rd and 5, Max McGee.
That's right, Ray, and I don't think Penn State's afraid to go right back to that same pass in which they hit Barbanchak a while ago. He was wide open. He ran a simple square out, and I think they're going to use that a lot today.
Dave Stutz just checked into the lineup at tight end. Mickey Schuler had been in for a moment. He's out of there. Barbanchak is lining up wide left. Donovan is a flanker to the right. Motti, no gain. Great defensive play by Ohio State. Bruce Rule, number 43, a Southfield, Michigan junior, playing at the one corner, made a fine play. No gain. 4th down. There's going to be a field goal try by Chris Barr, following wind, with Barbanchak holding. It'll be an attempt of 55 yards. It is good. 55-yard field goal. Penn State is on the board.
He holds all the Penn State kicking records.
With the score, Ohio State 7 and Penn State 3. We'll be back right after this. Barr with a following wind. This is Lenny Willis. He will not run it out, and for the second time, Barr gets the ball where Ohio State cannot run it out. Let's see now what Penn State does in the way of any possible adjustments, Max, in view of what Ohio State did that opening drive.
Ray, I didn't see anything wrong with their defense. They were caught by surprise by that reverse. Other than that, they were pretty well keeping Ohio State somewhat in check. So I don't expect any change right now. Those reverses sometimes catch you by surprise, but I think they're satisfied with the way their defensive line is playing.
Lenny Willis is wide right. Green, behind him, Johnson and Archie Griffin. Baschnagel in motion. On first down, intended for Baschnagel, but a pretty good rush that time on Green.
He was rushed a little bit, and that pulled him off target just a hair. Actually, the ball could have been caught, but good coverage over there.
Mike Johnson made a fine defensive play. The linebackers now are Rich Kristen, 92 from Pittsburgh, Steve Wanamaker, 47 of Upper Nyack, New York, John Dunn from Hillsdale, a sophomore. Is Buttle in there, or is it?
Oh, Buttle's back in.
Buttle's back in. He's okay. And Hostetler, number 38. They're the linebackers. 2nd and 10 for the Buckeyes. Pete Johnson. First down. Boy, I'll tell you, that Chris Ward, number 79, that sophomore left tackle, is something else.
He weighs 270 pounds. Let's watch this fullback barrel through here. Ohio State noted for big fullbacks, and this is one of their bigger ones at 200 and almost 250.
Ted Smith, number 60, a senior from Gibsonburg, Ohio, aided with his blocking on that play. First down, the Buckeyes at the Buckeye 37. This time it's Griffin. No gain, and Greg Buttle led the defensive charge, number 67. Mike Johnson, number 45. Ron Crosby, number 64. A change now, and number 40, Jeff Height, replaces Ron Hostetler at right outside linebacker. Second down, and a little more than 9 for Ohio State. This is the option with Green and a marker down. A marker is down at the Ohio State 36-yard line. Rich Kristen and Ron Coder made the defensive play for Ohio State. Let's see what we have. It's against the Buckeyes. At this moment, we remind you that the announcers on this telecast are contracted by Total Communication Systems, and any use of this program without the consent of Total Communication Systems is prohibited. Anybody pick up that signal on the penalty?
Yes, I did, Ray. That was an illegal shift,
Okay.
which Ohio State did.
So it's a loss of 5, and second down 14 for the Buckeyes at the Ohio State 32. We have 6:28 left to play in the first quarter. Ohio State is leading by 7-3. Lenny Willis, their fine wide receiver, is off to the right. Griffin up the middle. Fantastic run by Griffin to the Penn State 33-yard line, where Tommy Odell finally made the tackle.
Fantastic run by Griffin. Wait, watch how he sets up his blocks, fans, and he can really move. This young man, you can see why he won the Heisman Trophy last year, and he's a leading candidate this year. He's going to get his 100 yards early if Penn State doesn't tighten up that defense.
First down, Buckeyes, Penn State 33. The wing back in motion. Green gets it out for about 5 yards to the Penn State 28-yard line before Gary Peterkuski of the secondary made the tackle. Height goes out. Hostetler checks back in. Change at linebacker, Penn State. 2nd and 5, Ohio State Buckeyes. Both Baschnagel and Willis go wide to the left. Great play by Ron Hostetler of Bull Soppel, who just went in, and he nails Griffin for no gain.
Let's watch this again. Hostetler really comes up fast and lays it on Archie Griffin. As you'll see right here, he cuts him right in two. That'll put a stop to a lot of long gains by Griffin, believe me.
Third down and a little more than 5. Willis goes to the left. Mike Johnson moves out with him. The tight end is on the right side, Larry Kane. Pete Johnson, and Penn State closed it up in a hurry. Rich Kristen led the defensive charge with help from Steve Wanamaker. Two Penn State linebackers with a fine effort. Fourth down. We're going to have a field goal attempt. Bashnagel will hold for Tom Claiborne. 45-yard attempt. It has the distance. Oh, do we have great kicking as Penn State regains a 7-point lead. With the score, Ohio State 10 and Penn State 3. We'll be right back after this. Tom Skladany with a great kick. Monty will not run it out. Incidentally, Tom Skladany, for those of you who are watching our game in the Pittsburgh area, recognize that name. This young man who led the nation in punting last year, collegiate punting, had two uncles, former greats at the University of Pittsburgh, Leo Skladany and Joe Muggsy Skladany. It is a 1st and 10 for Penn State at the Penn State 20-yard line with Barbanchak to the right and Woody Petchel to the left. So here's the Penn State double wing. Donovan in motion, and this is Taylor. Oh, he almost broke that for big yardage. Bob Brodzinski, a junior from Fremont, Ohio, made the defensive play.
Penn State is getting good interior blocking in that line, Ray. They're opening some pretty good holes. So we're going to see some action on this Penn State offense.
Dave Stutz checks out, and Mickey Schuler of Enola, number 82, is in. That's a change at tight end. Barbanchak wide right. Petchel is a wing back to the left. 2nd and 7. Hard running freshman Tom Donovan of Northport, New York gets it across the 25 to where Penn State will have a 3rd down and 4 at the Penn State 26.
Tom Rafferty pulled on that play and made a good block on the defensive right tackle. He and Mark Thomas make two excellent guards in the middle of that Penn State offensive line.
Larry Suey carries in the play, the fullback, number 35. Donovan is wide right. He's covered by Craig Cassidy. Incomplete, intended for Suey. Actually, the ball was thrown a little bit too low and away from the intended receiver, and it's punt formation time for Penn State. That means Chris Barr comes on. Ohio State's dropping back. Bashnagel will be one man. I have not picked up the number of the other player yet. I believe it's Tim Fox. Yeah, Fox and Bashnagel back. Following wind. Fine punt. Fair catch. I believe that Fox had trouble with the sun, and he was shading the sun with his hand and elected not to risk running it out. And that's a good punt by Barr. It puts Ohio State back at the Buckeye 29-yard line with 2:38 left to play in the first quarter. Well, Ohio State's had the ball twice and has scored twice. Penn State's had it twice and has scored once.
This Ohio State offense is very explosive. This Corny Green, when he gets that ball under center, he's dangerous.
This is a Griffin trying to pick his way inside, gets it to the 34. So now there it looked as if Griffin was stopped. All he did was gain 5 yards.
He's quite a runner. You know, this Pete Johnson, who weighs 248 pounds, runs 109.9. So if they ever let him get loose, it's going to be awfully hard to stop.
Johnson, the fullback, is only a junior from Long Beach, New York. Willis comes out wide right, Lenny Willis. 2nd down, 5. Bashnagel went in motion. Here's Pete Johnson. 1st down. What a runner to the Penn State 48-yard line, where Hostetler, number 38, brought him down. Woody Hayes. We have a Penn State player shaken up on that last play.
We'll see on this on the replay. This Johnson is carrying those blockers about another 7 yards after he gets hit.
Shaken up on the play. Tom Odell, the defensive halfback from Summit, New Jersey, a senior, is receiving attention on the field. And he'll be replaced by John Bush, a senior from Derry. Well, I'll tell you something. Anybody who thought that Ohio State was going to have a letdown after their very emotional win over Michigan State last week, from what I have seen in the first quarter, Max, I would have to say I would hate to see them if they're high if they're not up today.
Well, I think the fact that it's their first home game, and, you know, Pennsylvania being a neighboring state, and they've never beaten Penn State, I'm sure Woody Hayes had some of those things working on those tools all week, and he's got this team ready to play.
Next week, Ohio State plays North Carolina, while Penn State will journey to Iowa City to meet the Hawkeyes of Iowa for their 2nd consecutive Big Ten appearance against a Big Ten team. For those of you who may not have had a chance to watch the start of the telecast, Ohio State won the toss, elected to receive, and promptly marched 80 yards for a touchdown with Pete Johnson scoring. Penn State came right back and posted 3 points on the board as Chris Barr came up with a 55-yard field goal. But Ohio State took the following kickoff, came down and came up with a field goal of 45 yards by Claiborne, and that's where it stands right now. 10-3 Ohio State, but with the Buckeyes, another drive underway, although it has only reached the Penn State 48-yard line, but there it is, a 1st down, and so far Penn State has not been able to stop the running of Ohio State.
When they bottle up Archie Griffin, they give it to the tank up the middle, Pete Johnson, and he's really hurting them in the middle of that defensive line. Of course, that's not to mention Brian Bashnagel on the wide stuff is a tremendous football player.
Griffin now has carried 7 times for 60 yards. Pete Johnson, 40 yards and 6 carries. The leader for the Nittany Lions, Dwayne Taylor, has carried 4 times for 23 yards. Odell up on his feet. Green hit Willis out to the left. Take a look at that play now.
Green throws a strike to Willis on a little hitch pattern. He had one blocker in front, but a good defensive play jarred him loose from the ball and almost a fumble.
Bashnagel caught it in the air for a 3-yard gain. And Penn State stops Cornelius Green on his option run after very short yardage, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 3 for the Buckeyes at the Penn State 42 with just a few seconds remaining in the first quarter. Woody Hayes, the man with the baseball cap, looking on. Bashnagel again in motion. Green, 1st down. 1st down at the Penn State 35.
Ron Coder almost had him behind the line of scrimmage, and this, young Green is so tricky. He got away from that and made a first down.
I don't know whether we'll have time for another play in the first quarter. The final seconds ticking away. We're down to 13 seconds right now. Might have time for one play. Willis off to the left. Mike Johnson's covering him. Fumble. I think Archie Griffin fell on it for a loss of a couple back to around a 39-yard line. The scoreboard clock would indicate we've reached the end of the quarter. That's it, the end of the first quarter. So with the score, Ohio State 10 and Penn State 3, we'll be back right after this. That last play did not count. The whistle ending the quarter had sounded before the ball was snapped. So it's first down. Ohio State, Penn State, 35-yard line. Archie Griffin. 5 yards on first down, and Archie is coming ever closer to that 100-yard figure.
That would be 23 games in a row, Ray, and he attracts a crowd wherever he goes, and he got a crowd then, but he still got 5 yards.
This Ohio State offensive line of Chris Ward, Ted Smith, Applegate, Lukens, and Donnelly. 2nd and 5, Ohio State. Archie Griffin. Fine play by Greg Buttle. A yard gain for Griffin. 3rd down and 4. From our end zone camera, we take another look.
Let's watch Griffin, and let's watch Greg Buttle come out of nowhere and make a great tackle on Archie Griffin. That's the way to tackle. Put your head right in the stomach and drive.
Buckeyes, 3rd and 4, Penn State 29. Again, the Buckeyes use the man in motion. Pete Johnson. No, Green kept the ball. Fooled me completely. I thought he gave it to Pete Johnson, and Green is shaken up just a bit as he held the ball and lost a yard thanks to Kurt Allerman and John Bush.
I'm not sure that he didn't really mean to give that ball to Pete Johnson because he fooled the cameraman, you and I both.
For Penn State, Tony Petruccio, a defensive tackle and freshman from Levittown, is in the game. We're going to have another field goal try by Tom Claiborne Baschnagel holding. This will be a 47-yard attempt. Following wind. No. It is off to the side. So Penn State holds the Buckeyes with 13 minutes and 8 seconds left to play in the first half. Ohio State still holds a 7-point lead, but Penn State's offense gets a chance to do something about it. Andrus at quarterback. Taylor and Suey alternating at fullback. It's Taylor now. Monty at tailback, 48. Donovan is the wingback right. A swarming Ohio State defense nails Monty for a loss. Lenny Moore, you have a report on an injured player?
On the injury report to Tom Odell, the defensive back, he re-injured an old neck injury that he had before, and it's pretty explainable when you tackle a big horse like Pete Johnson weighing about 250 pounds. Let's take it back up.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 9. Andrus. What a catch by Mickey Schuler. First down at the Penn State 45. Mickey Schuler of Enola comes up with a great play.
He makes a great throw and almost intercepted, and then a really alert Mickey Schuler picked it right out of the air, and that's a big play for Penn State. It gets them out of that end of the field where they'll have to punt against the wind.
First down at the Penn State 44 and a half. Barbanchak to the right. Up the middle, Marty to the 48. It'll be a 2nd down and 6. Nick Buonamici, the defensive tackle for Ohio State, made the stop. Ohio State has a truly young defense. Brodzinski's a junior. Beeman is a sophomore. Buonamici is a junior. Curto is a senior. One senior amongst the front four. 2nd down, 6, Penn State. Inside Ohio State territory comes Dwayne Taylor. We have a 3rd and short yardage for the Nittany Lions here.
So far, fans, Penn State has been more successful on the quick openers than they have given the ball to the tailback because of the reaction of this Ohio State defensive line. I think you'll see more of those quick hitters directly at the middle of that Ohio State line.
Joe Paterno, as ever, pacing across the field from us. His Nittany Lions have a 3rd and 3 and a half. Monty, first down to the Buckeye 42-yard line. Mark Thomas, the senior from Elizabeth, did a fine job of blocking in front of the runner.
We'll see.
Mark Thomas led the blocking. Monty gets a first down at the Buckeye 42. Donovan goes out wide to the left side. Monty is held to no gain. Eddie Beeman, sophomore from Cincinnati, number 67, Ohio State's right tackle, stopped the play. Suey now checks in, and Taylor goes out, and let's see what Penn State does on 2nd down and 10 at the Ohio State 42-yard line with about 10 minutes left to play in the first half, and Ohio State leading 10-3. Double wing. Marty went in motion. Aaron Brown, the middle linebacker, a sophomore from Warren, Ohio, nails Andrus before he can release for a big loss.
Andrus never had a chance to get this ball off. You'll see that middle linebacker shoots right through there when he saw that daylight and got to John Andrus before he could throw it all.
As a result of the fine play by Brown, 3rd down and 16 for Penn State at the Ohio State 48. Donovan comes out to the right, the wide side of the field, and Cassidy moves out with him, the cornerback. The ball was tipped, intended for Mickey Schuler. so 4th down. Chris Barr is in, but this time it'll be punt formation time. Into the wind. Fox and Bashnagel are back as twin return men for Ohio State. Bashnagel from Pittsburgh is a truly talented athlete. This is into the wind. Fox at the 12, spun down at the 14. Penn State covered that punt beautifully. Greg Kubis led the charge downfield, the junior from Edison, New Jersey. But the Buckeyes, this is as deep as Ohio State has had the ball, I believe, Max.
Right, this is the first time Penn State's had them actually in a hole, and every time Ohio State's had the ball, except the last time, they've been able to move pretty much at will, mixing it up inside and outside, and of course Woody Hayes there is very happy to see that.
First down, 14-yard line of Ohio State. Bashnagel and Willis are out wide to the left. Green used that tandem one time to set up a one-man screen. This is Griffin. Very close to a first down. Ron Coder made the tackle. But a first down for Griffin, and he's getting mighty close to 100 yards now. Griffin has carried 10 times for 76 yards. Same twosome wide to the right, Bashnagel and Willis. Griffin slowed down, a fine play by John Quinn. 1 yard for Griffin, 2nd down, 9.
Penn State defense has got to get these Ohio State backs before they get much running room, because with Griffin and Bashnagel, they're just too fast if you give them any room at all.
Here goes Griffin again. This time he gets it to the 29-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Let's watch Archie Griffin here. He goes right off the right tackle, and this time they had a host of white jerseys there, and that's the way you've got to play Archie Griffin. Get a lot of people at exactly where he is.
Ron Crosby was the first Lion to hit him. So Ohio State has a 3rd and 6 at the Buckeye 29. Griffin. I don't think he had the first down. He's a little bit less than a yard short. Now we're going to find out if they're going to send in their punter, Scladani. He's the best in the country.
They made the first down, Ray. No, they didn't make the
4th
first.
and less than 1. Scladani is in to punt to take advantage of a following wind with 7 minutes, 11 seconds left to play in the first half.
Watching this young man practice punting, he may kick the thing right out of the end zone.
He averaged over 45 yards a punt last season. He had one of 59 yards last week against Michigan State. Tom Scladani. Great punt. At the 20, Rich Monty gets it out to the 27, fumbles the ball, a marker down at the Penn State 18-yard line.
Usually a marker there either means clipping or an illegal block, either which would put Penn State deep in the hole. Let's watch the snap here. This almost got away from Scladani, and he still gets off a tremendous punt, and that's very hard to do with the high snap.
Meanwhile, a penalty against Penn State moves the ball back to the 10-yard line. Clipping. So the Nittany Lions are in trouble. Into a wind of 15 miles an hour at their own 10-yard line. 6:39 remaining in the half, and Ohio State leading 10-3. Donovan is wide to the right. Taylor gets maybe 2 or 3 yards. Along the sidelines, number 82 is Mickey Schuler. Number 35 is Larry Suey. 3-yard gain, 2nd down 7.
Dwayne Taylor came into this game as Penn State's leading rusher with 127 yards.
Marvin Jack is out wide to the right, and Craig Cassidy is playing him very loose, maybe 10 yards off the line. Donovan went out of bounds at his 17-yard line. His momentum carried him out, and Penn State will have a 3rd and 3, and this is a key down here for Penn State, Max, because a first down would help them run off some very valuable moments here. Woody Petchel is going to be in a tailback. Mickey Schuler is coming in, will be in a tight end.
It's very important to get a first down here. That way you keep control of the ball. You can get out further away from your own goal line, because punting into this wind now is going to give field position to Ohio State.
This is Monty. He did not get the first down as Ed Thompson, a linebacker, led the defensive charge. Number 9. The ball is going to be spotted, I believe, about a yard shy of a first down, and it's going to be punt formation time. And Ohio State has almost 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. Bashnagel and Fox are back anticipating a punt from Chris Barr. Now, Ohio State's been putting a pretty good rush on the punter.
Right, and I think they noticed in last week's film that the rush did bother Barr somewhat. So let's see if they put a rush on. No, they put on the return, Ray.
Fair catch, Bashnagel at the Ohio State 49, so the Buckeyes are in great field position and holding on to a 7-point lead. With a score, Ohio State 10 and Penn State 3. We'll be back right after this.
You know you're overdue for an oil and AC oil filter change?
But Lou, I'm not driving as much.
You've got to think months, not just miles. Your oil still gets dirty. An AC oil filter has up to 12 feet of dirt-trapping protection. Helps keep oil clean.
So think months, not just miles, huh?
And think AC.
Thanks, Lou.
Distributed by ASCO, your automotive supply company, Margaret Avenue, Altoona.
You know, out in the country, if you keep things simple and honest, you'll find you've got a good thing going for you. That's why Kentucky Fried Chicken has gone to the country to bring back an original American taste treat, country-style ribs, cooked the Colonel's own special way in a mild hickory smoked barbecue sauce. Now, that's real country goodness. Come on down to Kentucky Fried Chicken and dig into some of the Colonel's country-style ribs.
First down and 10. Ohio State at the Buckeye 49. Willis and Bashnagel are going over to the short side of the field, the right. No significant substitutions by Ohio State on the offense so far. Green with a keeper, and Penn State defense did very well with Mike Johnson mainly responsible for stopping the play. Greg Buttle also helped out in turning it inside.
He put it on his hip trying to fool some Penn State defenders, but evidently Greg Buttle was not fooled.
Dennis Mugin moves in at defensive end, number 81. For the Buckeyes, 2nd down and 9. Let's see if Green goes to the air here on a 2nd and long yardage with about 5 minutes left in the half. Green is going to try and go deep. Great defensive effort by John Bush. He's in place of the injured Tommy Odell, and he did a great job that time.
That's the way to play pass defense. Get back there. You'll see him. He goes up with perfect timing. If you don't have good timing here, you could get caught for interference, but he turned around just in time, and right as the ball gets there, he comes up, makes a tremendous defensive play.
So on the incomplete pass, the Buckeyes are in a 3rd and 9. Bush, the defensive left halfback. Mike Johnson, the defensive right halfback. Steve. That was Bashnagel in motion. Way overthrown. Intended for Willis with Johnson covering, and Ohio State is in a 4th and 9.
That ball almost got away from Green. He was looking at his hand like it slipped out of his hand. I think that field's still a little wet, and maybe that ball was wet on that particular pass.
On 4th and long yardage, Tom Spadani to punt. Maudie is back as a return man around the 10-yard line, but Spadani, with the following wind here, is liable to kick it into the stands. We were watching him before the game today, and you can't believe how far he kicks a football.
Tremendous leg on this young man.
Fair catch, Maudie, looking into the sun, and Penn State will have it at the Penn State 8. And Penn State's defense did a tremendous job that time in holding Ohio State at midfield and forcing an Ohio State punt.
You know, as much as we've seen Ohio State go up and down the field, the score is only 10-3. So this game is very much up for grabs.
Right now, the officials have indicated that they want a timeout. Buckeyes scored a touchdown the first time they had the football, and you said to yourself, oh my goodness. But Penn State came right back, and thanks to that tremendous leg of Chris Barr, put 3 points on the board. And Ohio State came right back, and the field goal by Claiborne made it 10-3. But since then, the two defenses have been able to make the big plays when needed. Penn State has had the usual offensive line. Brad Benson of Altoona, Tom Rafferty of Fayetteville, New York, Delmont's Ron Argenta, Mark Thomas of Elizabeth, and George Riener of Washington. Dick Barbanchak of Binghamton, New York, has been one wide receiver. They've been alternating at tight end between Stutz and Schuler, alternating at fullback between Larry Suey and Dwayne Taylor. Rich Motti has been a tailback and sometimes a wingback. Woody Petrel's been in briefly. Tom Donovan has been the wingback most of the time that Penn State's had the football. So Greensburg's John Andress will move the Nittany Lions up 1st and 10 from the Penn State 8 with 4:49 left to play in the half. Donovan left and Barbanchak right. For Maudie. Juggling the football and almost lost it. He ran into Ken Kuhn, a junior linebacker from Louisville, Ohio. Ball spotted at the 11-yard line. Gain of 3 for Maudie and 2nd down 7. The middle comes Suey to the 15-yard line where Penn State will have a 3rd and 3.
Larry Suey and Woody Petrel were All-State in Pennsylvania the same year that Brian Bashnagel was an All-State in Pennsylvania. Of course, Coach Paterno got 2 of them, and Bashnagel is the one that got away.
For Penn State. Back. Woody Petrel's been in briefly. Tom Donovan has been the wingback most of the time that Penn State's had the football. So Greensburg's John Andress will move the Nittany Lions up 1st and 10 from the Penn State 8 with 4:49 left to play in the half. Donovan left and Barbanchak right. Maudie. Juggling the football and almost lost it. He ran into Ken Kuhn, a junior linebacker from Louisville, Ohio. Ball spotted at the 11-yard line. Gain of 3 for Maudie and 2nd down 7. Come on, Pat. The middle comes Suey to the 15-yard line where Penn State will have a 3rd and 3.
Larry Suey and Woody Petchel were All-State in Pennsylvania the same year that Brian Baschnagel was an All-State in Pennsylvania. Of course, Coach Paterno got 2 of them, and Baschnagel is the one that got away.
For Penn State, it is a 3rd down and 3. The clock is running. 3:40 left to play in the first half. Donovan, first down at the 23-yard line, and that's a big first down.
A big first down, and this freshman last week on those pitch-out plays made himself over 100 yards, and he's starting again today. You can see on the replay that he gets outside quick. Of course, leading that play was George Rayner.
He's a junior from Washington, PA. Rayner is, and with his help, Donovan gets a first down at the Penn State 24-yard line. On first down, Donovan, no gain. Secondary receiver was Donovan that time. He wanted to go deep to Monty, but Cassidy had Monty covered very well, and Archie Griffin's brother Ray Griffin made the tackle to hold it to no gain.
This young Cassidy kid's father was a big Ohio State star at Hopalong Cassidy.
For the Nittany Lions, 2nd and 10 at the Penn State 24. To the near side, Barbanchak. Donovan in and out of his hands. Cassidy was coming over, but Donovan ran a good pattern. He was free.
John Andrus had it on the button, just a little bit behind, but should have been caught. Tom Donovan just could not hold on to that one, but that would have been a big first down for about 14 yards.
As a result of the incomplete pass, it's 3rd and 9. Well, let's call it 10 at the 24-yard line. With the incomplete pass, Joe Paterno looks at the clock and finds it says 2:25 left to play in the first half. Up the middle comes Marty. He has a first down and a lot more at the 41-yard line. Beautiful call, that delay to Marty up the middle before Pat Curto made the stop.
A great call, and I think he caught the Ohio State defense completely off balance. Good blocking in the middle, and this young man can run.
So with 2:12 left to play in the half, Penn State's moved it out to the 41, started this drive at the 8. Great protection, and Schuler has it for a first down at the Ohio State 47. Gee, there was great pass blocking that time for Andrus, Max.
And a great pass pattern by Schuler. If he could have gotten out of bounds, it would have been the perfect play. As you see, he is wide open. I mean, really open. I think we'll see that play again. He tried to get out of bounds, but just couldn't quite make it.
We have a timeout call, and I don't know whether one of the Buckeyes has been shaken up or not, but with a timeout on the field, we remind you that the score is 10-3 Ohio State, and we'll be back right after this.
Hi, Bill. How are you? Hey, you been on a diet? Looks like you've lost 400 pounds.
Introducing a new, smaller Dodge Coronet. It's like a big Dodge that's been on a diet. Coronet's lighter than a big car, so it costs less to drive, and the sticker price is lighter than a big car's. Coronet, it's like a big Dodge that's been on a diet.
What a shape!
Number one for the money is Dodge.
You stand behind this counter sometime and tell me how you'd feel. All them lottery winners bouncing in here. Where's my money? This would hit for $10,000. That would hit for $50,000. All them lottery winners bouncing in here. Where's my money? This would hit for $10,000. That would hit for $50,000. I'm going to be a millionaire. Well, I'm tired of helping to pay it out, so I buy 2 50-cent tickets and $1 ticket every week. And if I win, it's going to be with some dignity.
Get the ticket. There are millions to be won.
Proceeds benefit senior citizens.
Play the Pennsylvania lottery.
Knew you could do it, brother. All right.
This young Penn State team growing up in a hurry. Here comes Taylor, Dwayne Taylor, and Tim Fox saves a touchdown. Tim Fox saved a potential touchdown.
Dwayne Taylor has this tremendous start at almost all the way. Look on the replay. He breaks it over left tackle, and it looks like now he's on the way to a touchdown. Just a great save by the last defensive man, kept Dwayne Taylor from going all the way.
Tim Fox, a senior from Canton, Ohio, made a touchdown-saving tackle at the 17-yard line of Ohio State.
Penn State could get something in this drive on the scoreboard. This second half would really be a lollapalooza.
Penn State has called for a timeout. That's the reason here for the break in the action. But last week against Stanford, for those of you who watched that game, I'm sure you noticed that Dwayne Taylor gets into the line just like he's shot out of a gun. He's carried 8 times here, Max, I see, for 61 yards.
Right. This should...
Quarterback John Andrus, the junior from Greensburg, talking with Joe Paterno, and the Nittany Lions have come up with, I would have to believe, a first-half performance that has these fans at Ohio Stadium blinking a little bit.
I think John Andrus knows he can throw the ball, too. He seems to be getting more confidence in his passing attack, and he's getting men wide open, so Penn State has many ways to attack this team.
First down to the air. This is Schuler, and a fine play by Tim Fox. Oh, that's 2 great plays in a row for Fox. Penn State asked for timeout again. There was a loss on that play.
That play's designated to break 1 tackle, and that time Mickey Schuler just couldn't break the 1 tackle. Otherwise, he's got an 8 to 10 yard gain.
Ohio State by 7. So with the score, Buckeyes 10, Nittany Lions 3. We'll be back right after this. Second down, 11. Penn State at the 17-yard line of Ohio State. Donovan in motion. There goes Taylor. Short yardage to about the 13-yard line. Penn State asked for another timeout, and Woody Hayes, he's a lot of things to a lot of men. There's no such thing as describing Woody Hayes one way, Max.
I agree. After hearing his speech last night at this little dinner we had, this man has meant a lot to college football, and he says it, whatever he wants to say, he lets it go.
Among other things last night, Woody Hayes, in discussing Joe Paterno, and believe me, and I just have to believe he was sincere about it, he has a great respect for Joe Paterno and Joe for Woody, so there is a mutual admiration society going on here. For example, with Ohio and Pennsylvania being next-door neighbors, it's inevitable that these 2 schools would go after the same young men, and yet I've never seen any recriminations or accusations one way or the other, and it's a great rivalry, and it's one that's going to continue. We have a big down coming up here as John Andrus comes back to the Penn State huddle. For Penn State, it is 3rd down and 8 at the 13, between the 13 and 14-yard line of Ohio State, with 1:31 left in the first half. Now let's see what Penn State does. Marvin Chakas to the left. Double wing. Monty right, Donovan left. Audie in motion. Just batted away by Cassidy. Craig Cassidy, who came up with 3 interceptions last week against Michigan State, just batted that away from Schuler at the last instant. And so, for Penn State, Chris Barr will try a field goal of 31 yards. Now he's head on. Doesn't have to worry about any angle, and at this distance, I don't believe this 15-mile-an-hour wind should bother him too much. The holder is Barbanchak. He has the distance, and he's on target again. Chris Barr adds to his record-breaking total of field goals for Penn State. This one, with 1:24 left to play in the first half, changes the score to Ohio State 10 and Penn State 6. Penn State started from the Penn State 8-yard line after a fair catch of a punt by Skladany and marched to that field goal.
Only a great play by Cassidy kept that from being a 7-point play, because Schuler was just a little bit behind him and the ball was almost on target, and Cassidy jumped up and batted it away.
So Barr will kick into the wind, and this, of course, will be dangerous because speedster Lenny Willis is back in the end zone. Number 45 is Griffin. He's back around the 7-yard line. I'd have to believe that Barr is going to try to keep the ball away from Griffin. But Willis is a real burner. He's a split end and a fine, fine receiver for Ohio State. Barr comes to the ball. Boy, that's a good kick into the wind.
Tremendous kick.
Willis is not even going to run it out, so Barr's done just a great job today with his kickoffs. Ohio State has not been able to run back any kickoff.
Well, I think there might even be a little bit of a wind switch. Every once in a while, that big flag down there seems to be blowing directly across the field, so maybe it's not quite as heavy as it was when the game first started.
Odell has not returned to action since being injured, and John Bush is still playing in his place, number 43 from Derry, and the seniors come up with a couple of big defensive plays. Willis is to the left. Bashnagel in motion, and Green's going to the air. A lot of time. Bashnagel tackled by Mike Johnson for a first down at the 32-yard line. Did I see Griffin out on a flank that time? They had a new wide receiver out there, Max. I'm going to check him up before this next down.
I didn't notice, Ray, but there's a possibility. I was eager to see whether Coach Paterno was going to go to the passing tack or try to run out the clock, but he's going to try to get 3 points out of this at minimum.
Griff Green again. He's going to run. Buttle runs him out of bounds. But a big gain for Green to the 45-yard line. And Green went into the bench as Buttle met Green at just about the out-of-bounds mark.
We'll see on the replay here. Green looks downfield. He can't find anybody open, and he's such a dangerous runner. When he takes off, there's a lot of trouble on the field. And of course, he's not hurt. We'll see. They push him into the bench, but this young man isn't hurt.
Incidentally, as Ohio State came back to the huddle, Max, Greg Buttle went over and said to one of the Buckeyes, in effect, look, I'm sorry, I didn't see the sideline. The Ohio State kid waved his hand and said, okay, I know you didn't. Green again to the air. Willis, is it a complete pass? Incomplete. Oh, or is that Herman Jones who just went in? Herman Jones, yes, not 89, 49, who just went. He was the man I saw out there as a flanker a moment ago, Max, that we had not seen before, from Miami, Florida, sophomore, number 49. It's incomplete, and it's 2nd and 10.
These numbers are very hard to make out because of that mesh jersey that they wear here at Ohio State.
Both Willis, 89, and Jones, 49, are wide to the left. 2nd and 10. Wonder if they might run Griffin on a delay here. No. This is Jones, and oh, what a play by Bush. John Bush made a fine, fine defensive play.
He saved a big gain right there.
Mike Johnson, too. Mike Johnson.
You can see on this play, if the first man doesn't make the tackle here, it's a big gainer, and this is tremendous defensive play.
And it was Mike Johnson who was mainly responsible. Now, Ohio State asked for a timeout. So the Buckeyes have 2 timeouts remaining, if I'm correct in my arithmetic, and have a very big down coming up. 3rd and 9, as Corny Green talks to one of the Ohio State assistants. The ball is at the Ohio State 47, 45 seconds remaining in the half. Ohio State leading by 10-6. Glad you're with us. We've had a fine, fine football game. Greg Buttle's been huddling with the Penn State coaches, and the Penn State defense will be set up here in just a moment. What Ohio State did on this drive, Max, took out tight end Larry Keene and put in the additional wide receiver, Herman Jones, and he's a speedster, as is Willis, and they're both out wide to the right.
Puts a lot of outside speed.
Green is finally put down by Mike Johnson after a very short gain, and it's 4th down with 30 seconds left in the half.
This is another scramble by Corny Green. He just tucks the ball up and he's gone, and this kid can move around pretty good. It's great defensive play there by Mike Johnson.
Ohio State taking a lot of time now, and I don't know whether Spadania will even have time to punt. 9 seconds left in the half. 5. Ohio State's going to be content to let the clock run out. There's the gun. So we've had a great first half here in Columbus, Ohio, with Penn State trailing by 4. So with the score, Ohio State 10, Penn State 6. We'll be back right after this. Well, Max McGee, I'm impressed with Penn State.
A tribute to Joe Paterno. The way Ohio State started out, it looked like they were going to run Penn State out of the ballpark. Joe made a few adjustments, kept this young team right in there, and it's right now a very close football game.
What have you seen from Ohio State that you didn't expect?
Well, I didn't expect them to probably come out throwing the ball right off the bat, plus that reverse by Baschnagel really caught Penn State by surprise. But other than that, Penn State has actually controlled this, at least they've been somewhat in control of the football game.
I've been a little bit surprised that Ohio State did not go back to something like they used with Bashnagel on the reverse with its tremendous success. They've never gone back to it.
I'm sure we'll see it in the second half. But like I say, Joe Paterno is one of the few coaches in the country that can adjust to something immediately, and especially with a young football team like this.
Our colleague Lenny Moore is on the field with, and if you don't mind a personal comment, one of my long, old, and best friends, Bob Prince. Lenny?
All right, you know, we're fortunate to have with us Bob Prince. Hey, Bob, what brings you here? You're supposed to be in Pittsburgh.
Well, I'll tell you, Lenny, I broadcast 2 of the games Penn State played against Ohio State. You were undefeated then. You still are. The Pirates have it all wrapped up, and I wanted to be here to see you. And this is a whale of a ball game here today.
It really is. You know, I had an opportunity to talk to some of the Penn State kids, and these kids seem to think that they can take it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I thought perhaps in the very first part of the game they were up a little tight and too emotional. All of a sudden, I think they realized they could play with this ball club. Your linebacker, Buttle, is popping good. Your fellows are coming up, meeting a rush, and I think if you get them to throw the ball in the air, they're not too sure about that one. I like the way Penn State's playing, and I believe the second half will be a real popper.
Well, you know, I guess the basic thing is as long as they can probably close off that type of option series by Cornelius Green, I think they're going to, but slowly they seem to be settling down.
Well, they certainly are doing that, and you're sticking a couple of freshmen in there. Lenny, just remember, when you played football, a freshman couldn't even get on the field.
That's right. All right, Bob, nice to have you here. Let's take it back upstairs to Ray and Max.
Thank you, Bob Prince and Lenny Moore. Well, Max, as always, colorful halftime activities here at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, so let's join the festivities on the field.
Evolving into the outline of the state of Pennsylvania.
Buckeyes lead Penn State by 4. With the score, Ohio State 10 and Penn State 6. We'll be back right after this. Well, Max, we've had a chance now to take a look at the statistics. The one, of course, thing we do not know, not in the area of statistics, will be of those players injured, who will be able to come back. Tom Odell, for example, did not come back after his injury. But what do you read into the stats? One thing we knew for sure, Ohio State could run with the football, and the statistics bear that out.
I think something also we found out that the Taylors ran the ball 9 times for 73 yards, so Penn State can run the football too. I think this young Ohio State defense is vulnerable both to the run and pass. That's why I give Penn State a good chance of moving the ball.
So Ohio State is going to kick off as we get ready for the start of the second half. Archie Griffin is the leading ball carrier, 13 attempts, 82 yards, with his longest gain 35. Dwayne Taylor, 9 carries for 73 yards. And who knows how the game is going to turn out, but as of right now, we just about have to credit Tim Fox with a touchdown-saving tackle and Craig Cassidy for batting away a pass that had touchdown written all over it to Mickey Schuler as the 2 big defensive plays for Ohio State in the first half.
That's how close it was, really, to this game being Penn State being ahead in this game.
Now, in the closing moments of the first half, when Ohio State was trying to get more points on the board, they took out the tight end and went to 2 wide receivers. Lenny Moore, have you had a chance to find out anything here at halftime that we don't know? Lenny?
Talking with some of the players, you know, they seem pretty confident that they can kind of take it to Ohio State this second half. During halftime proceedings, I had asked, what did Joe say? Did he change anything, or are you going to do anything different? They said nothing. Joe just quietly talked to the fellas and said, hey, let's just keep taking it to them, and things are going to take care of themselves. Let's take it back up.
Okay, Lenny, there's Woody Hayes saying, come on, gang, gather around me.
Ray, I'd like to say one thing. For 2 weeks, I've been trying to make Greg Buttle into Rich Buttle. What I'd really like to say is that whatever I call him, he's the best doggone linebacker I've seen in a long time.
Well, I'm sure that his friends and relatives will forgive you, because that can so easily happen. I'll never forget the time before a big game in the Cotton Bowl between the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers, Max. I ran into a writer with the same last name as one of the Dallas running backs, Reeves, right? And I changed Reeves' first name to the writer's first name because the writer was the last man I saw before the kickoff. Ready for the second half to get underway at Ohio Stadium, with Ohio State leading Penn State by 4, 10-6. Gladany getting ready to kick off. He'll have a following wind, and it'll be a surprise if he doesn't kick it out of the end zone, with Petchel, Motti, and Taylor to receive in case they can get it. No, Motti's not going to run it out. It'll be first down, Penn State, from the Penn State 20. Now, one other thing that may or may not have a bearing on the second half proceedings is the fact that Penn State will have the benefit of the following wind in the fourth quarter.
That's right, and if they can get out of the hole now and give Penn State the ball in poor field position and hold on this quarter, it'd be a big asset to go in this last quarter with that trailing wind.
Penn State is going to start with a double wing with Taylor behind Andrus. Donovan in motion. Hauer running, Taylor running off Benson and Rafferty, gets about 3 yards out to about the 23. Penn State used the double wing from time to time in the first half. Penn State has been alternating not only at fullback but also at tight end. Donovan is wide right this time, and Penn State's in an I on second down 7. Schuler, first down, 42-yard line. Mickey Schuler.
Mickey Schuler has been finding the opening spot all day. We'll look on the replay here. You'll see how open Mickey Schuler's getting, and this is his 4th reception today, and he's playing a tremendous game.
So Penn State chalks up a first down at the Nittany line, 42. Donovan is wide left. Cassidy moves with him. Barbanchak to the right. This is Motti. finding some daylight for about 3 yards, possibly 4, to about the 46, where he ran into Nick Buonamici, the defensive tackle for Ohio State. And Dwayne Taylor checks in, and Suey goes out.
You can see why Joe Paterno didn't change anything at halftime. His offense is working. He just hasn't got a touchdown on the board, but he's going to get something going.
Whoop. That was middle linebacker Aaron Brown, who many times moves up into the line, who Ohio State will be penalized 5, and Penn State is going to have a 2nd and 1 at the Ohio State just inside the 50. 2nd and about 1.5.
Great opportunity to try something different here. And there's Joe Paterno. Maybe he'll send in something different.
Scott Fitzke, a freshman from Red Lion, is in the game, and he is wide to the right, to the near side, number 46. This is for Fitzke. What a catch! What a catch at the 15-yard line.
That young man's a freshman.
Oh, my goodness, he got behind the defensive back.
Watch on this replay. This is as good a catch as you'll see if you watch football for 100 years. I asked Joe Paterno before the game, I said, when are you going to let us see this Fitzke? And he just laughed, but you just saw him, and what a catch by Fitzke.
The freshman from Red Lion puts Penn State 1st and 10 at the Ohio State 15. Motti fights his way for 2.5 or 3 before he ran into junior linebacker Ed Thompson of Waverly, Ohio. Boy, that Fitzke, there was nothing fancy about that. He just took off on a fly pattern, and Andrus put it there, and then the great catch, and we have right now, after the short run by Motti, a 2nd down and 8. Barbanchak to the right. Motti is in the slot to the right. This is Donovan. And he's inside the 10, down around the 9-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down. 3rd down and about, 2.5 or 3 yards for a 1st down. Big, big play here.
When you start looking for big plays, you can start right here. A big 1st down here, it gives this team a chance to get in for a touchdown instead of having to go for a field goal, which will make it 10-9.
Donovan is out wide to the right. Cassidy moves out with him. Barbanchak is off to the left. No gain for Taylor. Ken Kuhn, the linebacker. Number 54 for Ohio State made a great defensive play, and Penn State will apparently have to settle for a try at a field goal. Barr is 2 for 2, and with 12:15 left in the 3rd period, he'll try to move Penn State to within a single point. Barbanchak will hold. 25-yard attempt. Slight angle. He's 3 for 3. Ohio State's lead is down to a single point. With the score, Ohio State 10, Penn State 9. We'll be back right after this.
Reach out, America, and get a hold of something good. Today, we Americans are going more places than ever before, and we're taking Kentucky Fried Chicken with us. Hello, everyone. I'm Ray Scott. Ever wondered just what it is that makes Kentucky Fried Chicken America's favorite take-along meal? It's something we call real goodness. That same secret recipe the Colonel's been using for all these years. So reach out, America. Get a hold of something good from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Where do you think they get the money to buy diesel engines like these? Same place I get mine. Commercial credit. They lent millions for a bunch of diesels. I got $1,000 for my daughter's wedding. You know, when you think about it, if you need 1,000, it just makes sense to get it from the kind of pros who lend millions. I mean millions.
The place to borrow 1,000 is from the people who lend millions. Commercial credit.
First kick. Willis is going to run it out. He is short of the 20. Robinson, Giotto, stop Willis at the Ohio State 18. Incidentally, Max Andrus has completed 7 of 11 passes for 106 yards.
That's great, Ray. He was hitting just under 50% for the year, and this is it's going to give this young man a lot of confidence. He's throwing the ball very well.
Ohio State with a 1-point lead has the football and a following wind at the Ohio State 18-yard line. Pete Johnson powers his way to the 24. Ran into Rosecrans, senior linebacker from Camillus, New York.
Pete Johnson is typical Penn State fullback. Big, strong, and likes to run it right up the gut.
Johnson picked up 6 yards. It's 2nd and 4, Ohio State at the Ohio State 24. 2 wide receivers to the right. Griffin, first down. At the Ohio State 31, Archie Griffin powers his way to a first down before brought down by Buttle.
Let's take a look at Archie here. He was actually tackled and watch him roll away from this tackler right here and make an extra 5 yard. That's where he got the first down.
So the Buckeyes roll to another first down. Griffin ridden down by Jack Beener. No, that was Jim Rosecrans. Jim Rosecrans, I'm sorry, number 33. Griffin gets just 1 yard, and it's 2nd down and 9. Penn State has never led, but trailing now by just 1 point early in the 3rd quarter. Jones and Willis are wide right. Penn State is going without a tight end. Green still has the football. Gets about a yard or maybe 2 to the 33, and so for Ohio State, a very big down. Hostetler and Buttle teamed up to stop the slippery Cornelius Green, and it is 3rd down and between 7 and 8 for Ohio State.
It's a big play for Ohio State. Well, in this replay, we'll see why Cornelius Green is so dangerous. He hides that ball on his hip, and watch this spin. He's noted for that.
Back live, Baschnagel went in motion. This is 3rd and long. That ball almost hung up long enough for it to be intercepted by John Bush, but it's incomplete. Penn State holds Ohio State in this drive to 1 first down, and now Skladany, the nation's leading punter last year as a sophomore, from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, is in to punt with a following wind. 9:39 left to play, 3rd period. Petchel is back, Monty is back, and Mike Johnson is back. With Petchel and Monty, the deep men at the Penn State 25. Great punt. Monty is at the 10. Great punt by Skladany. What a weapon.
You said just what I was going to say. That's almost an offensive weapon. When you can kick the ball 60 or 70 yards, that's almost as good as a pass thrown 50 or 60 yards.
Well, the last time Penn State had the football, they had to start from the 20. This time, the Lions are back at the 10. Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio, with about 85,000 screaming fans. Referee signals an official timeout, and the Ohio State players ask the crowd to be quiet because there's no way that Penn State's players could hear the signals.
That was a point Woody Hayes made last night, Ray, at this dinner, that he thought the fans here were very nice because they'd allow both teams to hear their signals. And I think that in fair play, that's the way it should be in all of football.
9:29 left to play in the 3rd period. Dwayne Taylor gets it out for about 3 yards before he ran into Aaron Brown and Nick Buonamici.
There was a lot of movement in that Penn State backfield. They went into a shift, which you don't see very often, probably to try to confuse this young Ohio State defense. Evidently, it didn't confuse them that time.
Taylor picked up about between 3 and 4. Second down 6. Suey is in now. Motti, the tailback. Motti, he's close to a first down. Refusing to go down, Rich Motti has Penn State up to a 3rd and less than 1, where Ken Kuhn, the linebacker, made the stop. Mark Thomas, number 69, did a great blocking job.
Let's watch how Rich Motti keeps his feet here. Right here, a tremendous move, and almost made a first down. From the end zone, watch, when he's hit here, watch this spin. This young man is an excellent back.
3rd and less than 1. Motti ran into Eddie Beeman. I believe it is going to be 4th and about a foot at the 20.
Second effort almost got it, but I think it's still going to be short just a little bit.
We may have our first measurement of the game. If so, it comes with exactly 8 minutes remaining in the 3rd period. Yes, we're going to have a measurement. Penn State will go into punt formation. And Chris Barr must punt into a wind of about 15 miles per hour.
It's really a game of inches.
The deep men are Tim Fox and Brian Baschnagel.
Hey, Moose, tell them they got it.
Baschnagel fumbled it. He's back at the 35. Oh, is he hit down? He fumbles. Penn State has the football. Tom Giotto recovers Baschnagel's fumble at the Ohio State 38-yard line.
Big fumble recovered by Giotto. You'll see here he bobbled the original kick, and after he got control of it, he was hit very hard. We'll see right here. Let's see who hit him right here. This is what caused the fumble. Kurt Allerman caused that fumble.
Meanwhile, back live, the first running play saw Woody Petchel trying to go wide right, and I swear Ohio State had about 18 men on the field. He was hit by about 6 of those Buckeyes. Loss of 1, and it's 2nd and 11 at the 39-yard line of Ohio State.
That defense might be getting a little inspirational talk from Coach Woody Hayes on the sideline.
2nd down, 11. Andrus. Aaron Brown led the charge, number 55, and Andrus is dumped back at the 49-yard line, and it's going to be 3rd down and 21.
Aroused Ohio State defense. Very mad after that. Let's look at it on the disc. He had nowhere to go. A rush on the inside, he was trapped on the outside, and that's the way it worked out for John Andrus that time.
Now, let's see if Penn State goes to the air. 3rd and 21. No, this is Woody Petchel. He gets back about 8 yards to the 40, but it's 4th down. Woody Petchel is stopped by Ken Kuhn.
It's not much else you can run. You can run a screen or draw in those situations, because trying to throw the ball downfield when you've got at least 8 men back there is too much danger of interception. So that's why you see most teams try to salvage and draw or the screen pass.
An attempt at a field goal of 57 yards with Barmanchak holding. 5:50 left to play, third quarter. Penn State trailing by 1. Not quite. The wind was a little bit too much, but not by much, Max McGee.
That would have been with the wind behind it. He would have made that clearly by 10 yards, but a tremendous kick from Bauer.
So Ohio State's defense is equal to the task for the moment, and the Buckeyes get the football. 1st and 10 at the Ohio State 20. Late in the third quarter, and remember now, Penn State will have a following wind in the final period. Willis goes to the right. Bashnagel is a slot back to the right.
Can you hear them?
Archie Griffin. He gets it out for about 5 on first down.
You begin to wonder when they might try that reverse they used in the first half with Bashnagel. Somewhere along the line, they've got to start getting outside. The Penn State defense is bottling up the inside of that line.
2nd and 5 for Ohio State. Willis again to the right. Bashnagel again in the slot to the right. Johnson and Griffin behind Corny Green. There goes Johnson. A yard short of a first down at the 29, where he ran into Ron Coder. Third and 1. Hostetler goes out. An additional lineman comes in. 3rd and 1 Ohio State. Will they run inside? They have a full house backfield. Johnson, he has it. A second effort gets Johnson a first down by 1.5 yards at the 31.5-yard line. John Dunn came in for one play. So 4.5 minutes left to play, third quarter. Ohio State picks up a first down. Green is going to throw. Wide open was Larry Kane, the senior tight end from Dayton, and oh, is he upset at himself.
I think when you're that open, you probably have a tendency to take your eye off the ball.
I think John Quinn provided the rush here, Max.
Right, and Green rolls away from the rush. This was a secondary receiver, but he is so open, I think it surprised him that the ball got there. But evidently, when you're this open, the tendency is to try to run before you catch it, and that's what happens.
So on the incomplete pass, 2nd down and 10. Steve Wanamaker is in now, linebacker. Intended for Bashnagel, it is incomplete, and it is going to be 3rd and 10. John Bush was covering. Boy, the Buckeyes have been putting the ball in the air many more times than almost anyone expected they would.
Yes, I think that's a tribute to the defense that Penn State is playing, that interior line and those 3 linebackers, or those 4 linebackers. But, you know, I really think that Corny Green is probably more dangerous when he goes back instead of throwing the ball when he runs it. I think he's more dangerous than when he throws it.
Kurt Allerman is in at a linebacking spot for Penn State. Ohio State 3rd and 10 at the Buckeye 31. Bashnagel in motion. Short of a first down, Kurt Allerman made a great tackle on Pete Johnson, who was the safety valve man, and Allerman one-on-one made a great play, and Ohio State is going to be forced to punt the football away with 3:45 left to play in the third quarter. Single return man, Rich Maudie. He's back around the 20. Well, let's see. Skladany is standing at the 25. He'll be punting from around the 23-yard line. Where did it go out of bounds? At around the 12-yard line. Another great punting exhibition by Skladany. And the Nittany Lions are back deep in Penn State territory. With the score, Ohio State 10 and Penn State 9. We'll be back right after this.
I'm gonna buy a Nova.
I'm gonna buy Dodge Dart.
I guess it kinda all depends on what you think is smart.
I'll get a lot of hip room in a Nova.
I'll get even more in Dart.
I'll get a lot of miles on a gallon.
I'll do better in a Dart.
Well, I was gonna buy a Nova, but now I'm gonna buy a Dart.
I guess it kinda all depends on what you think is smart.
Number one for the money is Dodge.
You know, out in the country, if you keep things simple and honest, you'll find you've got a good thing going for you. That's why Kentucky Fried Chicken has gone to the country to bring back an original American taste treat, country-style ribs, cooked the Colonel's own special way in a mild hickory smoked barbecue sauce. Now, that's real country goodness. Come on down to Kentucky Fried Chicken and dig into some of the Colonel's country-style ribs.
Green has completed 5 of 12 passes. That might have been a first down run for Dwayne Taylor. Very close to it, if not an actual first down. First down is signaled by referee Jerry Markbright.
That's been their bread and butter today, is Taylor right up the gut on that quick opener, and they're really getting him loose in there.
Couple of first downs here, and Penn State would have the benefit of a following wind. Only 2:50 left in the third quarter. Second man through is Woody Petchel. The first down was recorded at the 23. Petchel gets it out to the 26, and it's going to be second down 7. Tight end Dave Stutz carries in a play now, number 89. Second down 6. This is Taylor. Another first down. This one out across the 35 to around the 37-yard line. Brad Benson did a great blocking job. The junior tackle from Altoona. And Penn State is showing us a lot of different pass patterns, Max.
Let's watch this on the replay. I think this is a man he meant to go to. It's a little one-man screen. Great block by Brad Benson.
First down, the Nittany Lions. Oh, a rush by Ken Kuhn, the linebacker. Ohio State gambling and blitzing on first down, and the linebacker Kuhn drops Andrus inside the 30.
It looks as though he anticipated a pass, and nobody picked up this linebacker, which was a mistaken interior line, and Joe Paterno's team has made very few mistakes today, almost none.
Loss of 7. Second and 17 now with the ball at the Penn State 29. The clock is running with 1:15 left to play in the third period. Donovan is out wide to the right. Cassidy is playing him about 5 yards off the line. Suey can't hold on. It's going to be 3rd and 17. Linebacker Tom Cousineau made the play there for Ohio State. He was over there with Suey to see that he didn't get anywhere. 1:04 left in the quarter. 2 wide receivers to the right are Donovan and Barbanchak. Up the middle. Ken Kuhn is there to stop the play. It's going to be 4th and about 12. So Penn State will not have the benefit of a following wind here for this punt.
Last punt that Chris Bauer punted, he punted it end over end, which made it very hard to handle by Brian Bashnick.
Oh, he hangs this one up high. Fair catch at the 25-yard line by Fox. Now there's a good punt into the wind. 33 seconds left in the quarter as Ohio State takes over the football. With the score Ohio State 10 and Penn State 9, we'll be back right after this. Willis comes out wide left. Griffin picking his way, gets his usual 4 or 5 on first down. Ran into Ron Coder. And somebody's hurt, I believe. One of the Buckeye linemen, I believe. It might be Scott Dinelli, the senior tackle from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, who was injured. Lenny Moore, how do you feel about Penn State's players and how they feel about things right now?
Sidelines, and there's an air of confidence going among this Penn State team that is really unbelievable. They know that they can take it to the Ohio State team, and I think what's going into the second half of what you've seen thus far, I think is indicative of what's been happening. Let's take it back up.
Okay, Lenny, it was not Scott Dinelli. It was Chris Ward, the huge sophomore tackle from Dayton, number 79, who was shaken up. It was he who was just awesome, we are told, against Michigan State last week. And he'll be replaced by a senior from Milford, Connecticut, Lou Petrini. But look at the size of that tackle. What's he listed at?
270 pounds.
Oh.
You know, Ray, I asked Joe Paterno last night how it felt to be over a 2-touchdown underdog. He said, how can you be a 2-touchdown underdog? Because Michigan State, he didn't think played that good a game. You really can't tell till you line up on the field to see who's a 2-touchdown underdog.
2nd and 7.
Yes.
Pete Johnson gets it to about the 31-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 4, and John Quinn was the top man to stop that play on the final play of the 3rd quarter. So we've reached the end of the 4th quarter. With the score Ohio State 10 and Penn State 9, we'll be back right after this. Start of the fourth quarter, 3rd and about 5. Griffin does not get it. Griffin gets about 3 yards, but Penn State's defense, led by cornerback John Bush, is equal to the task. There he is, number 43, and it is 4th down. Skladany must punt into the wind, and Penn State's apparently going to get the football.
Right, and Archie Griffin just went over 100 yards for, I believe, the 23rd game in a row.
Skladany into the wind. Single return man. I believe it's Motti. Rich Motti is back at the Penn State 22. Mike Johnson is back about 15 yards in front of him. Motti at the 24. There's a good run back. That punt was covered well, but Motti found a little bit of daylight, and he gets it out to the Penn State 35. Max, may I ask you a question based on your playing experience? How much of a psychological advantage is a following win to a team?
Well, it's a great psychological advantage because even if you don't make a first down, you can kick your way out of trouble. Plus, throwing the ball is much easier. So psychologically, it's a tremendous edge. And look, from the field goal standpoint, that gives you an extra 10 yards.
Out of a double wing with Motti on the right and Donovan on the left. Donovan in motion. Taylor powers it out to about the 38-yard line, where it will be 2nd down and 7. And Aaron Brown, who has been a very, very active linebacker, although actually he plays almost like a nose guard, doesn't he, Max? He's up there in the line most of the time.
Right, on the odd man line, he moves into the line. Otherwise, he's a middle linebacker. I've still been impressed by the fact that Penn State has had no offensive penalty. They had a clipping penalty on a punt return, but other than that, they have played error-free, and this is a junior and sophomore football team.
Andrus, Barbanchak, 1st down, midfield. Andrus did a beautiful job of hiding that ball, and Barbanchak ran a good pattern.
Picture pattern by Barbanchak. Great completion by Andrus.
Scott Fitzke, number 46, who was in for one play and made a miraculous catch.
Keep your eye on 46 because when he's in there, he's about a 9.3 or 400 sprinter.
He's off to the left, Fitzke. Now, I'm trying to figure out whether Andrus just threw that away when he saw receivers were covered. Now, Fitzke that time was held up just enough when he got off the line of scrimmage that he could not get deep. It is 2nd down and 10. And Fitzke, he's going to get the reputation. Who was a one-play O'Brien, is the legendary hero years and years ago, I think, for Notre Dame. Fitzke was in for one play in the first half and left, in for one play now and leads.
I think they might have got the ball to Fitzke then had they have seen him.
This is Taylor to the Ohio State 47, where Penn State will be faced with a 3rd and 7, and Pat Curto made the tackle along with Eddie Beeman. Stutz comes in, Schuler goes out, a change at tight end, 13 minutes left in the game. Ohio State has a 1-point lead. Taylor, 1 yard. Ed Thompson, the junior linebacker, mainly responsible for stopping that quick opener.
Well, look, again, this is a play that's been successful for Penn State all day, and this time they really had it bottled up.
So Barr now with a following wind from the Penn State 40. One return man is back. I think it's Tim Fox. Oh, he hangs this one up. Into the end zone. So Ohio State will have it at the Ohio State 20. With a score, Ohio State 10, Penn State 9. We'll be back right after this.
Reach out, America, and get a hold of something good. Today, we Americans are going more places than ever before, and we're taking Kentucky Fried Chicken with us. Hello, everyone. I'm Ray Scott. Ever wondered just what it is that makes Kentucky Fried Chicken America's favorite take-along meal? It's something we call real goodness. That same secret recipe the Colonel's been using for all these years. So reach out, America. Get a hold of something good from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Sputter, sputter, bing, bing, bang, stall, mist, oh, mist. If your car doesn't run like it should, maybe it's time to see your AC Delco serviceman about a tune-up with AC spark plugs and Delco Remy points and condenser. See your AC Delco serviceman. Get back in the running with an AC Delco tune-up.
Distributed by ASCO, your automotive supply company, 12th Street in Barnesboro.
Ohio State 1st and 10 at the Buckeye 20. 12 minutes, 12 seconds left in the game. Ohio State leads by 1 point. This is the reverse. This is Baschnagel, and this time he gets 3 yards. Mike Johnson held his ground and made the tackle from his corner position.
That was the same play in the opposite direction that Baschnagel made the long gain in the first half that set up that touchdown.
Ohio State has a 2nd down 6 at the Buckeye 24. Jones is wide right. Willis is wide right. Green is nailed by Ron Hostetler for a loss of 4. He never had an opportunity to option anything that time, Max.
No, that linebacker Hostetler's playing quite some football game. He saw the option. We'll see it here on the replay. When he saw he didn't give the ball to the fullback, Hostetler stepped in there and ended this play immediately.
For Ohio State, a 3rd and 10 from the 20. 2 wide receivers are at the right side. I believe the left tackle, Lou Petrini, who just replaced Chris Ward a few moments ago, made a false move. That's right, 5 yards against Ohio State. Now the Buckeyes are back where a mistake could really be costly. 3rd and 15 from the 15-yard line.
This is where they didn't want to be, with their backs to the wall against the wind, because punting out of there, even with the great punter that they have, is still a problem.
Tom DePeso from White Plains, New York is in instead of Buttle as a linebacker. Third and 15. A marker is down. Willis was knocked down by one of the defenders, and the pass didn't have a chance of being completed. And it's going to be a 1st down, Ohio State.
Very bad break for Penn State, because like you say, the pass was thrown very poorly. It was hung up there, and it's almost accidental that he knocked the receiver down.
John Bush was responsible for knocking down Willis, and Penn State gets out of a tremendous hole. 1st down at the Buckeye 33. 10:49 left in the game. Griffin, he almost broke it for big yardage. He got about 5. Remember now, Griffin is over 100 yards today, and that's, what, 23 in a row now for him?
That's almost incredible.
Gain that time of between 4 and 5. 2nd and 5, Ohio State. Green still has the ball. Ron Crosby and Tom DePeso force Green deep and a loss back to the 32-yard line. It is going to be 3rd down and about 11.
On the replay, you'll see it. He don't make the pitch, and right now it's too late to make the pitch. I'm not sure it's a good play on a cutback here, because you put yourself almost out of 1st down reach.
We didn't see Al Simmons last week, number 75, but he's in there now. Here's Ohio State with a 3rd and 10. Great catch. Archie Griffin. Archie Griffin, the receiver.
Let's watch Archie here. Coach Woody Hayes says when the big play is needed, Archie Griffin comes up with it. Whether it's running the ball, catching the ball, and sure enough, a tremendous catch right here by Archie Griffin. He does it all coming out of that backfield.
First down, Ohio State at the Penn State 45 with 9:15 left in the game. Ohio State with a 1-point edge. Pete Johnson. That hole closed in a hurry by Tom DePasso with help from John Quinn. Dennis Smugin is coming in now. Rich Kristen is checking back in now. Kristen replacing Allerman. Sidler leaving in favor of Smugin. Johnson picked up 2. It is 2nd down and 8. Bashnagel in motion. Pete Johnson. First down. Ron Hostetler finally made the tackle, but an inspired Ohio State offense is again in high gear on the ground. Greg Buttle checks back in now in place of DePasso. And a limping Chris Ward goes in at left tackle for Ohio State. First down, the Buckeyes at the Penn State 33. Griffin, only about a yard. He ran into Coder and Quinn. Win, lose, or draw, I would have to believe that Penn State is going to come out of this game, Max, as a much better football team for having played the likes of Ohio State early in the season.
There's no doubt about it. These young men playing here in front of 84,000 people and people hanging on the walls still trying to get in here. It's got to be good for them, and I'm sure it'll pay off somewhere along the line.
2nd down and 9. Bashnagel in motion. Pete Johnson. Close to a first down. What a tremendous two-pronged attack on the ground between Griffin and Johnson.
This is actually a tank right here. 250 pound, runs 109.9. Once he gets started, it takes a lot of people to get him down.
It is 3rd and less than 1 at the Penn State 24.5, and Ohio State is eating up the time. Less than 7 minutes remaining in the game. Ohio State leading 10-9. First down. Pete Johnson gets the first down at the 21-yard line of Penn State.
Game's getting now where the clock is everything, and if Penn State's to win this football game, they've got to stop this drive sooner or later.
First down, Ohio State at the Penn State 21-yard line with 6:35 left in the game, and Ohio State leading by 1. Again, the man in motion. Griffin coming outside to the 16-yard line. 5 yards for Griffin before Greg Buttle brought him down.
Let's watch Greg Buttle. He's been in and out of the game, but when he's in the game, he makes a big difference. He'll meet Archie Griffin right here. He enjoys playing linebacker, and he plays as good as anybody.
2nd and 5 for Ohio State. Less than 6 minutes remaining now. Pete Johnson is slowed down by Hostetler, who was blitzing on the play. Hostetler, the linebacker, blitzing, and he was at the right place at the right time, holding Johnson to just 1 yard, and it's a 3rd and 4 for Ohio State at the Penn State 14-yard line, and only 5.5 minutes left.
A big play here for Ohio State because a first down to give them a chance to control the ball and possibly get a touchdown. Otherwise, they'll have to go for the field goal to put it where Penn State must score a touchdown to win.
2 wide receivers to the right. Johnson, he's close. Wanamaker and Hostetler stopped him. Straight ahead power, no finesse. Just a straight ahead charge by the Ohio State line, and it's going to be very, very close at the 11-yard line. What would you guess Ohio State might do, Max, if it's 4th and inches to go?
Well, I would think that almost have to go for the field goal. With a kicker like Bauer and the wind behind him, I think the 4-point edge would be very important.
Well, doesn't mean anything. They got the first down. Lenny, you're down there with Sever Toretti. What do you men think right now?
Well, the pass interference over there was a big break in the football game. Of course, Ohio State had it good enough to take advantage of it. I think if we'd have stopped them here, they'd had to kick in the wind, and it would change the whole complexion of this football game.
All right, let's take it back upstairs.
Out of a full house backfield now. This is the power backfield, and there's Johnson. Touchdown. Pete Johnson has earned the right today to be called one of the great power running backs of recent years.
That's right, a great Ohio State fullback. Arms mean nothing to this man. He goes right through arms. You can't arm tackle a man like that.
So it is a 7-point lead, and Clavin will try to make it an 8-point lead. Buckeyes by 8. With a score, Ohio State 17, Penn State 9. We'll be back right after this. Spadani ready to kick into the wind as a pass interference penalty against the Nittany Lions kept a drive alive that appeared ready to die, and the Buckeyes strong enough, as Sever Toretti pointed out, to capitalize on it. Spadani into the wind, a little squibber. Woody Petchel to the 26. So now it is Penn State trailing by 8. Time left, 4 minutes, 43 seconds. A Penn State team that today has shown the ability to move the ball in the air as well as on the ground.
To this point, it's been a very even football game. Like you say, the interception probably turned the game around.
You mean the interference?
The interference, right.
Okay, Buckeyes on defense, Penn State at the Penn State 26. Here goes Taylor. Taylor is out to the 44-yard line, just like that.
Doesn't take many like that till this game is... That's that same quick opener that they've been successful with, and this young man can run. He breaks tackles and makes a big gain here.
From the 21 to the 44. First down, Penn State. This is Donovan. And he's down to the Buckeye 45, and this might be another first down. Suey checks in place of Taylor with 4:15 left to play in the game and the clock running. Ohio State with an 8-point lead. Donovan. Oh, fumble. Ohio State has it. Nick Bonamici.
Nick Bonamici made one of the hardest tackles I've seen all day.
Right there.
Great run, but a great tackle. Jars that ball loose.
So congratulations for Nick Bonamici of Brentwood, New York. He's only a junior, and Ohio State's defense comes up with a big effort. And with 3:58 to play, the Buckeyes have the football and an 8-point lead. Pete Johnson gets only a couple. Ohio State needs, I would say, about one first down. And then it would be mighty difficult for Penn State to do much of anything. Johnson picked up only a yard at 2nd and 9.
You know, Dwayne Taylor has rushed 16 times for 109 yards, and that's a great effort by that young man.
We'll be at Iowa City next week and hope that you'll be able to join us on TV. Oh, Hostetler met Johnson at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd and 9.
They're going after that football. They want another chance to get their team on offense and get a shot at a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and this thing's all tied up.
Now, let's see if Ohio State puts the ball in the air with less than 3 minutes left in the game. 3rd down and 9 at the Buckeye 44. Baschnagel in motion. Nope, they're going to run it with Griffin. He, I don't think, got the first down. He's going to be close. I shouldn't say that. At the 47-yard line, it's very close. Hostetler and Allerman. There aren't many football teams that on 3rd and 9, Max, in a key situation, run the football. But they have that kind of confidence, apparently, in the running game.
I think when you got the Heisman Trophy working for you, it's not too bad a call.
First down at the Penn State 47. Archie Griffin, who caught a big pass on the way to the Ohio State touchdown that moved them to this 8-point lead. Griffin gets a key first down in trying to protect the football.
Those few inches might have been the difference in Penn State having enough time to get another drive mounted.
Clock running, only 2:15 left in the game. There goes Griffin again. He's down to the Penn State 39. A fantastic performance by Archie Griffin. He has a brother who plays defense. He has a brother who is a freshman. And he has about 3 or 4 other brothers who played football at other institutions. Griffin picked up 8 at his 2nd and 2. 1:45 left in the game and the clock running. Griffin limited to about 2 yards before Kurt Allerman made the stop. We're going to have another measurement here. see if it's a first down or not. No, it'll be 3rd and inches. The announcement to the crowd occasioned that roar that Griffin had gone over 100 yards for the 23rd game in a row. Ball is at the Penn State 37. Third down, inches, 1:15 remaining. A young Penn State football team that I would have to believe will gain an awful lot of confidence after having played this Buckeye 11 to very close to a standstill.
I think you're looking to a team in the future that's going to be already is one of the outstanding teams in the country, but maybe the best team in the country in the next year or so. These kids are all young. They're all going to get better. They have a great freshman team, so this is the team of the future.
I do not know why the reason for the delay here. I'm told that one of the officials is on the phone to the press box. As to why, I have no way of knowing. All I know is we've seen just a great football game today, and for those of you watching at Rec Hall and State College, hope that you'll join us right back at that same spot next Saturday, because we'll be in Iowa City as Penn State invades Big Ten territory for the 2nd consecutive weekend. Now we're ready to go. Ohio State, 3rd and inches. The ball at the Penn State 37-yard line. 1 minute, 10 seconds left to play, and the clock is running again. The full house backfield has Pete Johnson breaking tackles. Oh, my goodness. He almost broke free except for Ron Crosby and what could have been a run for a score.
He almost got out of that last tackle. Let's look at it again. When you say raw power, this is raw power. Here it goes. He breaks a tackle here, he breaks a tackle here, and then tripped up by the last hand between him and the double strike.
Ron Crosby of Glassport, Pennsylvania might have saved another touchdown. The clock is running, only 45 seconds remain. And Ohio State just that many seconds away from the first win ever over Penn State. Penn State asks for a timeout right now after a gain of about 4 by Johnson. Do we know offhand how many yards Johnson's gained today? He's 21 carries for 108 yards. So they have 2 runners over 100 yards, and Penn State asking for a timeout with 34 seconds remaining. With the score, Ohio State 17, Penn State 9. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, you got a second, because there's this game. Only costs $50 to play, and you could win up to 1,000,000 smackers. Now, that's a lot of cabbage in anybody's patch. And they call this game double dollars, because you can double what you win. You get it? Now, get this. About 15,000 palookas ain't got no more on the board than you and me are winning this double dollars game every single week.
Get the ticket. There are millions to be won.
Proceeds benefit senior citizens.
Play the Pennsylvania Lottery.
Only one thing bothers me. It's legal.
You know, out in the country, if you keep things simple and honest, you'll find you've got a good thing going for you. That's why Kentucky Fried Chicken has gone to the country to bring back an original American taste treat, country-style ribs, cooked the Colonel's own special way in a mild hickory smoked barbecue sauce. Now, that's real country goodness. Come on down to Kentucky Fried Chicken and dig into some of the Colonel's country-style ribs.
Bashnagel, by the way, the 3rd member of the backfield, only carried the ball twice, but he gained 53 yards. So
Good.
there, we have about 300 yards and 3 different runners, Max. Pete Johnson to the 22. The clock shows 25 seconds, 24, 23. Here Penn State stops the clock, 22 seconds left. I believe Penn State has just one timeout remaining. Well, I'll tell you something. It's going to be quite a football team that beats Ohio State, and it's going to be quite a football team that beats Penn State from now on. We're looking at just two fine football teams.
I agree with that. I don't think this will affect the rankings in the country in any way. Both these teams are ranked in the top 10, and they've both shown that they can play good football.
Next week, Ohio State takes on North Carolina. To give you an idea, and we have a chance here between plays, Max, I want you to expound a little bit on the type of schedule that Ohio State has, which I think gives them a tremendous advantage. This is a 3rd and 4 run by Pete Johnson. No, Green still has the ball. And he might have a first down at the 18-yard line with 15 seconds left. Taking a look at that schedule for Ohio State, and it's a good schedule for the Buckeyes, I'll tell you.
It is a good schedule for the Buckeyes. But after UCLA, they play all in the Big Ten. And going into the big Michigan game, they have, of course, Wisconsin, Purdue, Indiana, Illinois, and Minnesota, which haven't always been the toughest competition in the world. But they are Big Ten league games. But they, leading up to Michigan, which will be their next big game, I think, after the UCLA game.
So Woody Hayes and his Ohio State Buckeyes last night made it very plain at this gathering at the fabulous home, Darby Dan Farm of Mr. John Galbraith, the noted horseman and owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates and longtime Ohio State booster, and just a great sportsman. And he hosted this dinner last night, and Woody Hayes and the other Ohio State people made no bones about it. They said, so what if the Big Ten says you don't have to win to go to a bowl game? We're interested in one place on New Year's Day, and that's Pasadena. But representatives are here today from the Cotton Bowl, from the Sugar Bowl, and from the Orange Bowl. 4th and inches, 7 seconds left. 19-yard line of Penn State. There goes Pete Johnson. It's another Ohio State first down at the 17-yard line. 1 second, 2 seconds rather. The ball spotted at the 17-yard line, and there's the football game. Ohio State wins it by 8. With the final score, Ohio State 17 and Penn State 9. We'll be back right after this.
I was very impressed with the way Penn State made very few mistakes, and also the way Ohio State played. This is two good college football teams, and any Saturday that you can spend an afternoon in Columbus, Ohio with 85,000 and see this kind of game, it's got to be the greatest pastime in the country.
I can't help but believe that when the experts rehash this game and point to the turning point, and we've mentioned it a couple of times, and Sever Toretti did in chatting with Lenny Moore, Penn State had held Ohio State when a third down pass apparently was thrown away by Corny Green. But inadvertently, a Penn State defender knocked down a potential receiver. Pass interference was called, and properly so. It kept a drive alive that was about to die, and Ohio State went on in to score the touchdown that put them from a 1-point lead to what turned out to be an 8-point lead. Lenny Moore is on the field with head coach Joe Paterno with his immediate post-game thoughts. Lenny?
Joe,
what a game. It was a good football game. Tough luck. What's your assessment?
We have a good football team. We came out here to win, and we're a little disappointed, of course, we lost. We made a couple of mistakes in the second half we couldn't afford to. The pass interference, which got them out of the hole when they might have had a punt to us. And I think that Ohio State's a good defensive team. They mix up their rush. They don't let you get into a pattern. They deserve a lot of credit. But I was proud. We played a tough football game. We're going to get better as a result. You know, you never like to lose, no matter who. We thought we were going to beat them. We really did, especially at halftime, after we settled down, after they, got the big first drive. But there's another week, another one coming up, Lenny, and we'll be a little better football team next week as a result of it.
Joe, I know you want to get in with the guys. Take care and good luck to you. All righty, let's take it back upstairs, the Rays.
Okay, Lenny Moore, and thank you, head coach Joe Paterno. Quickly, Andrus 14 of 17 for 138 yards. Taylor carried 16 times for 109 yards. So for Lenny Moore and Max McGee, this is Ray Scott saying so long from Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio, where the final score was Ohio State 17 and Penn State 9. This game has been brought to you by the Dodge Boys. See your local Dodge dealer for the best buy in town. And by Kentucky Fried Chicken, where you can have a finger-licking, good-time barrel of fun. Executive producer of Penn State football is Nelson L. Goldberg. Coverage of today's game produced by Guido D'Elia and directed by Brian Sight. Associate producer Sue Devlin. Be with us again next week when Penn State meets the Iowa Hawkeyes. Production and technical facilities by TPC Pittsburgh. This has been a Total Communication Systems production.